Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Cassandra Terry, the mindset coach and founder of Manifesting Miracle Makers, rounded up her LinkedIn family once again. First, we've got Brian Smart, Mr. Content and Dadpreneur. He's striking the perfect balance between raising his youngest daughter and creating masterful content. Next, meet Denise Annalise Spiller, the gig expert and relentless traveler and writer. She turns every gig into an adventure. Then there's Jay Pasquale, the storytelling strategist, a poet and voiceover artist. He's weaving tales that'll make you think, laugh, and maybe even change your perspective. And wrapping it up, we have Eric Clark, the soul speaker and author. He's here to soulfully help you craft your story and narrative. Get ready for a show filled with wisdom, inspiration, and the magic of family. Let's welcome Cassandra Terry and the rest of the Fam Fire.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. We are happy to be here. We are happy to have you with us. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday is that day of the week where we focus on intentionality and the importance of being intentional so that the goals that you have set for yourself are goals that you're actually able to achieve. Intentionality is key in achieving the goals that you have. I see we have Tanya with us already from Healthy Communities, our striving communities, saying good morning to you as well, Tammy. I was just speaking to our special guest, so she should be joining momentarily, but we are going to get started. I am going to bring up our quote for the day, and we're going to jump right in. The quote is, when you have a vision for your life, even the difficult times become a part of the journey, not a roadblock. And that's by Joel Osteen. I may have used this one before because I think it's just so important for us to realize that it's all a part of our journeys. It's all something to be grateful for, because either we are getting what we want or we're learning how to get there. The obstacles give us the skills. The obstacles teach us resilience. The obstacles help us to be prepared for that next level in our lives. So they're just as much a part of the journey as those smooth sailing days. And it's the vision, it's knowing where you're going that helps you deal with the detours, because really that's all an obstacle is, right? It's a detour of the path that you were on. We see them all the time. I don't know about where you guys live, but it feels like we have construction on the same highway for 6, 7, 8 years, and then they start all over again. It just never ends. And so you find yourself on a familiar route, and then all of a sudden there's a detour. And I'm driving through a neighborhood that I've never had to go deep into before, but I'm looking for that sign. Where do I turn? Where do I make my next turn so I can get back to what's familiar? And that's what's happening with us when we hit those obstacles. We may get turned off of our path that we were planning to take. We've charted it out for ourselves, but some roadblock hits and we've got to take a left or a right. Sometimes we even have to back up a little bit and go around the obstacle. But when you have that vision, when you are intentional and you've got the clarity, you know where it is that you intend to end up, you deal with those obstacles so much better and get what they were designed to teach you, to protect you from, whatever the case may be. And you get right back on your charted course until you hit your destination. Tanya says, we learn from obstacles and take the knowledge with us on the journey. Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. We learn from the obstacles and we take that knowledge with us on the journey. Those obstacles are there for a reason. You guys have heard me all week talk about the people who win the lottery and then they're broke after a few years. It's because they didn't get the skills necessary to manage that windfall. And we squander our blessings when we don't have the necessary skills to manage them. So it's important to understand where you are, to look at the obstacles that are cropping up in your life and ask yourself, why are you here? What are you here to teach me? If you look at an obstacle from that perspective, it takes some of the overwhelm away. You don't feel like you're being just beat up by life and things are always happening to me. If things are always happening to you, there is probably a lesson. You're going to find a common thread in those things because there's some lesson that you need to learn in this phase of your life to prepare you for what's coming next. We don't want to squander our blessings. We don't want to mishandle our opportunities, right? We want to be prepared to fully take them on and take the best of them and not even just hold them for what they are, but when we're skilled and we know what we've been blessed with and we know how to use it, we actually grow it. We actually make it better than what it was when it came to us. There's parables about that. Are you going to just plant your seed and what are you going to do? How are you going to manage the blessings that come your way? Right? Be the one that plants well, waters, till the ground before you put the seeds in, that you have yourself in the best possible way to take that blessing that's come your way and maximize it. Share it with the world because that's what we're here for. We're not here just for self. We're not even here just for our families. Each one of us has a unique gift that is within us that we are designed to carry, to nourish, to develop, and to share with the world. When you know what that gift is and you're walking in that gifting, your life takes on so much more meaning. You have the energy to do things that before you wouldn't have done. It's because you're being fueled as you're doing what you're doing. This is fuel for me. I believe it's a part of my gifting. I believe it's a part of my purpose. So can I get up a little extra early before I start my workday and do this? Absolutely. My days are not the same when I don't do this. I feel like there's something missing. So not only am I here to serve and try to give something that's going to impact someone's day, I am impacted throughout these experiences and I'm better. My soul is fed by showing up with my fam five and sharing with you guys and learning from the comments that you leave. It's reciprocal. There was a room yesterday where we talked about reciprocal relationships, and this is absolutely one of those. I get as much from you all, from the fam five, and from you guys in the audience. I get just as much as I give. And I'm so serious about that. But I'm intentional about showing up because I know what my purpose is. I know why I'm doing it. It's not just to talk to people. It's not just to get likes and followers. I want those followers because that says to me that the message is getting to more people. But it's not about people following me. It's about me being able to impact a larger community and me being impacted by that community because, like I said, I get poured into every single day. So do you have that kind of clarity for you? Do you know why you're getting up and doing the things that you're doing? Do you think about it before you post? Do you think about it before you say yes to that next thing that folks are asking you to do? Are you just following all the shiny objects? Anything that comes your way that someone offers, it sounds good, so you jump at it. It's easy to be that. It's easy to be all over the place. But when you have intentionality on your side, when you have a vision for your life, you are very careful about how you spend your precious resources, your time, your energy, your focus, your funds. They should be going into the things that are going to further enhance the life that you're building, the message that you're getting out, whatever the gifting is. We should be developing that on a regular basis. And you know when you're walking in your gifting, it's almost like your feet don't quite touch the ground. It's such a wonderful feeling to be able to be in the space that was uniquely created just for you. Your home. You're in a home that only you can inhabit. And the world is missing that until you show up in that gifting. Someone is waiting for your message. Someone's waiting for your book. Someone's waiting for your song. Someone's waiting for your story. They're waiting for what it is that you have to give, that next piece of artwork. I don't know what it is, but you do. If you're willing to really go inside and be intentional, connect with that inner voice, connect with the messaging that's showing up for you, getting the understanding of why you are actually here. When you have your purpose and you're intentionally making decisions day in and day out to not only walk in that purpose, but develop it and to share it with those who need it, life doesn't get much sweeter than that. And that's why we spend this time on Wednesdays talking about being intentional and how it can accelerate you from where you are to where it is that you were designed to be. But you first have to get that clarity in your mind. And so I'm going to go back and put the quote back up. Tanya, thank you for sharing that. The quote is, when you have a vision for your life, even the difficult times become a part of the journey, not a roadblock. And that was by Joel Osteen. We've had a few other folks that have come in. Eric, I'm going to come to you next. Let me read the comments that have come in, and then you can take the quote and run with it however you see fit. Good morning, Sonia. She's saying good morning to everyone. My daughter Sierra is on the line. She says good morning. We have another Sierra. This one's with an S. Sierra Coleman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tanya, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to other things. We must be intentional. That is such a powerful comment. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else for that point in time. While you're intentional and you're focusing in on that thing, that's where all of your intentionality is poured into. Even if it's just for a period in time. We talk about people who are writing. You have to carve out time every day or whatever frequency works for you to write. And while you're in that space that you've created to be creative, you've gotten rid of the distractions. You're focused in when you're on the task at hand, and it's a hard no to everything else, barring an emergency. That's your time to write and to create. And when you can carve that time out to develop your gifting, whatever it is, you know when you're going to work on it, you know where you're going to do it, and you're intentional about that, and you create that time through your intention on a regular basis, you can't help but to get better. You can't help but for your skills to evolve. Let's see. Dr. Janice, blessings to everyone. Hashtag intentionality. I was just talking about you, Dr. Janice. She said that inner voice wins every time. Good morning, everyone, from Karen Cheatham. Hey, Karen, good to see you. So with that, I think I've gotten through, Eric, all of the comments. So I'm going to pitch it over to you, and I'm going to be quiet. We'll see how that goes. But let's hear what you want to share with us today.
Grand Rising Fan 5, good morning, good to see you. When I read the quote this morning, Cassandra, what I keen in on is the difficult part, especially now. Good morning, we have a guest. Good morning.
She is here. She's been down in our listening lounge, and so I brought her up. So this is Tammy, guys. And after you finish up, Eric, we'll introduce Tammy to everyone.
Okay. I was good morning, Tammy. Grand Rising. Thank you for being with us. I was drawn to the difficult times portion of the quote, especially now, just really maintaining that intentionality to get through and be present when we need to be, and showing up because it's difficult. It's hard, and that's real. And so there's no need of sugarcoating or trying to make that easier than it is, because the plain and simple part of it is that it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy at times, and we still need to show up. And so definitely take the time you needed, as we spoke about yesterday, to fill your cup, to make sure that you are the best that you can be. But then it's still showing up. It's finding a way to complete the task, because it's all part of the journey. And whether, again, you define success as accomplishing, one thing today or 10 things today, make that proclamation, understand what you want to do, commit to it, and then whether you are successful or not, measure at the end of the day. And if you're successful, pat yourself on the back. If you come up short, make that plan for the next day and stay focused. There's no time to shame yourself, blame yourself, to kick yourself while you're down. That's unnecessary. You need to be your best friend, especially during those times. And I think Cassandra does an amazing job of reminding me of that all the time. And I think all of us, I think I can speak for all of us, is during these difficult times, you need to be your best friend. You need to be speaking to yourself with kindness. You need to be giving yourself grace. You may not accomplish all the goals you have in the day. That's okay. When if you are, as Brian says, on the other side of the grass, when you wake up tomorrow, get right back at it. And so that's what's ringing true to me with the quote this morning, Cassandra, just remaining focused in the journey when the journey gets difficult, because it's not always going to be great times and sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be some difficult times, and that's part of life.
Absolutely.
And you can expect it, right? I think Jay said you're either in the storm, leaving a storm, or heading into a storm at all times. And so be clear, be focused, difficult times or not, and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. We have a rule we ask next Tuesday. Are you your superhero? Are you the superhero of your story? So be kind to yourself.
I love that, Eric. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being here, because we do acknowledge and honor the fact that you are still very early in the grieving process of someone who is very important to you, and it shows up in different ways. Some days you want to buckle down and really really work. You've got that burst of energy, and all you want to do is things to be distracted. Other days you just need that time to rest and reflect, and give yourself the grace and the space to show up how you need to show up to continue to move through this period. Grieving periods are difficult for humans because we attach. And I don't want to live a life that people wouldn't miss me when I'm gone, right? So the fact that it's difficult speaks to the life of the person that's no longer physically with you. So understand that peaks and valleys are a part of the journey, and wherever you happen to be in that journey, don't question it. It just is. It just is, and you take care of yourself the best way that you can, peak, valley, or anywhere in between. The grieving process is something that's so hard to maneuver, and it's so personal and unique to each individual. The timing that it takes, the what it looks like, no comparison to anybody else. That's your unique journey from your unique relationship. And so we're just here to support you the best way we can as you continue to maneuver through that. And I appreciate you sharing that journey, because you just never know who else is going through the same thing or something similar, and knowing that they're not alone sometimes is the best thing that a human can get. We can't change it for you, but just knowing that there's somebody else who's experienced it, or someone who's willing to be supportive as you go through, sometimes that's as good as it gets. When you absolutely can't change the outcome, that support and model is sometimes as good as it gets. So just keep hanging in there, and we support wherever you are in the journey, peak, valley, or anywhere in between, because it may change multiple times throughout a single day, you know and you have to return to center. You have to find your new normal, and that's what people, it's never what it was before, because a piece is missing, but balance is still possible. You just have to rebalance, which takes time to find what that new balance looks like without the physical presence of somebody that you're so accustomed to having access to physically. So hang in there, brother. It will get better. It never goes away, but it does get better. All right, we have a few more folks who have joined. Naomi says hello, listening from Nairobi, Kenya. Amazing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cynthia, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Says good morning. My mom, Joanne Ellis, said good morning, everyone. She said, yes, Eric, that's good. You are correct. Amen. Camille Jones said, good morning, Fab Five fam. And Cynthia said, one moment, 1 minute at a time. And then Joanne Ellis said, Cassandra, this is so good. Yes, that's my mom, y'all. Everything. We were laughing at you last night, Mother. I was telling somebody. I don't know if it was Tim. I don't know if it was my husband or if it was somebody else, but I was telling, if I was, I think it was on Dr. Janice's show last night, that if I was trying to figure out how to weave a basket, my mom would say it was the best basket weaving process she'd ever seen in her life. So know who your cheerleaders are. My mom has the biggest pair of pom poms that I've ever seen, and man, it feels good to have that in your corner all the time. And if you don't have that, figure out how to be that for yourself, and absolutely be it for somebody else. Be that place where someone else can plug into and get the support and uplifting that they need, because it's absolutely priceless. Let's see. Trina says, good morning. And Tanya, thank you for supporting Eric in his grief journey. Someone else may need to hear it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think anything that we say or do, Tanya, is by chance. We are all just vessels allowing what's supposed to flow through. And I believe with everything in me, it will reach the destination that it is supposed to reach. So let me take a moment, guys, and introduce y'all to my friend Tammy Denmark. We call her Tammy D. She is a magnificent entrepreneur. Her business is Bella's Lounge, and that's how I met her. She's in the same city as me, or close by in the Austin. We both live in the Austin area, suburbs of Austin, and she created this business, Bella Lounge. Bella's Lounge. That's networking opportunities, and she brings people together, women together, especially all over different locations in Austin, to give us the opportunity to get to know each other, to get to know each other's businesses, to support one another, and I went to one event, and she started to pull me up and have me speak when I came to different events. And I got to one, and she was doing a raffle. And the raffle was my book. She hadn't told me about it. She didn't ask me for a free copy of the book. She went out there, bought it, and raffled it off. And then she goes, hey, the author is in the audience. Why don't you come on up and tell people about this book? And so she has just been such a supporter of not just me, but of women doing business in the Austin area and around. And she put me on a national stage as a public speaker not too long ago. She brought some really heavy hitters into Austin for a Wealth and Power conference, and she had me to open up this conference for people who have hundreds of thousands of followers, who have best-selling books and all these accolades. And when I talk about being intentional, when I talk about having your inner voice together, when she first asked me, it was my homegirl asking me to be a part of something that she had going on. It was an easy yes. I didn't give it a second thought. Then I went to one of her events, and the flyers were on the table, and I took a picture of it, and I still hadn't really paid attention to the lineup. I really hadn't. I just knew I was getting a chance to speak again. I was excited. I took a picture of it, and I started sending it to my network of people, my family, my friends. And one of my cousins called me immediately. He was like, oh, this is it. Oh my God, you're opening for Dr. Boyce Watkins and the mortgage guy and Julian. And he was just all beside himself. You're going to be on the same stage with these people? And I was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, little doubt started creeping in, and I started looking closer at their profile. I had followed some of them myself, so I knew who they were, but I hadn't locked in and attached myself to them in that one space. And I started looking at their followings and all the stuff that they did. And I went, I'm tiny compared to these people. What was she thinking? Why does she want me to open? And I had like a tiny freak out moment. But man, when you do that inner work, you will capture yourself mid negative thought, mid self-limiting belief, and you are able to get yourself together. Because I was like, what do I have to say? And before you know it, I had I heard in my own voice, you have a lot to say, because these people are going to come and do what it is that they do. But if the people on the receiving end are not properly prepared to receive their message, they're going to waste their time and they're going to waste their money. It is your job to prepare that audience to receive all the nuggets that are going to come from these people. So you get their mindsets right. You show them how to receive, how to walk away from that event and do something different than what they have. And that's your part. Don't worry about these other people. You just prepare the stage for them so they can do what they always do. Y'all, that was my speech to myself. Mid self-limiting belief. I was ready. I was ready to talk myself out of it. And mid self-limiting belief, I heard my voice click in. So don't think that just because you get it, that you're going to have it all the time. What we talk about and why we show up daily is because if you grab those tools and you practice those things for yourself, when the obstacle comes, when the belief starts to form, you can grab that thing and wrestle it to submission before it even gets a chance to really form. And so I got to see my work in practice on myself when I had that, oh my God moment. I can't believe she put me on the stage with all these heavy hitters. And I was so comfortable with those people. They were good at what they were good at, and I appreciated it. But I felt right at home on that stage. And it's not a bragging thing, it's a confidence thing. Every room that you walk into, if you're sitting next to the president, if you're sitting next to the janitor, if you're sitting next to the staff in between, everyone's equal. Everyone's due to be honored. Everyone's due to be respected. And you should be right at home. And that's what I realized through my interaction with Tammy. She set me up a little bit, but it worked. She did not tell me what she was. She set me up a little bit, but man, did it work. And it helped me to reconfirm for myself that I was practicing what I preached, that it was really working. And that allows me to show up for you guys with more confidence and say, do the work. Do the work. And Tammy and I had lunch recently, and she was telling me that, her business is going great, but she's not on camera that much. And that she's trying to put herself out there and get more on camera. I'm like, girl, I'm at home on camera every day. Come join us. And I told her what each day was. And she said, it's intentionality for me. So Denise, you've got a partner in crime here. Because intentionality is what Denise gets excited about. Me and Brian really got tight on Transformation Tuesday, and I told her, I said, well, pick the day that most resonates with you and just come share. Just come share. So Tammy, if you're ready, feel free to unmic and share with the audience anything you want about intentionality. I'm sure you can do a better job of introducing yourself and your business than what I did. So we're going to give you the floor. And after Tammy finishes, I'll take a look at comments again. And then I'm going to go over to you, Denise. All right, Tammy, the floor is yours, ma'am.
I actually think you did a great job. I was like, was that me? Did I do those things?
Yes,
I
you
just
did.
kind of moved.
And then
I just
some.
moved. When I started Bella's Lounge, I did not know what I was doing. It was a call to fall forward. And I'm an overthinker. So I will write a business plan over and over and over again. I will have 100 people analyze it. That is usually how I move. But this time when I was doing Bella's Lounge, I didn't do it. I cannot to this moment explain to you why I did not do that. I just started moving and doing stuff. And here we are, like going into 3 years later. And I'm entering this conference space that is so new for me. But I'll tell y'all a little bit about the conference Cassandra was talking about. Once I got to the conference, I was so nervous. I was like, I am not getting on that stage. I am not getting on that stage. I'm very good with putting other people in the light. But when it comes to me, I'm like, I'm good in the background. I'm good back here.
Sound familiar, Brian?
And I was like, I do not want to do this. So I said to Cassandra, she was like, girl, I got you. If you can't handle it, just give me a nod, like give me a wink, and I'll cover you. And you don't know, just having that coverage gave me the strength to say, I can do this. I'll do this. And I was just telling Cassandra when we went to dinner recently, when I got on stage, something clicked. It was like, oh man, I'm supposed to be here. All of a sudden, I didn't care about the audience staring at me or the lights, or I felt at home. And so I was like, I need to start putting myself out there because I feel like this is this is my calling. I have something to say. And instead of me constantly putting other people out, which I still will do because I believe in sharing, but it's my time to start doing the same for myself, start putting myself out there and sharing my journey and sharing my experience and my knowledge. And so I never knew when I started Bella's Lounge that that any of this would be happening. And so the reason why intentionality was important to me is because I spent so many years just falling forward, which is also a very important thing to do. Sometimes you have to move with where God is taking you and just go and just go. If you overthink it, overanalyze it, your own self doubts will start to stop you from doing what you should be doing. But now I'm in the spirit of be intentional, make plans, think through what you're going to do so that the shiny objects don't, slow me down or distract me, or I'm not saying yes to everything. Um, so that's been very important to me. And as it relates to the quote, like the quote really struck me because one of the things that has been my own mantra is, well, girl, who told you life would be perfect? Who Anytime something happens to me, or I don't even like to say something bad, I try to remove that from my vocab. But anytime something uncomfortable happens, I say, who told you life would be perfect? That's my mantra to myself, to remind myself that set your expectations. Who told you that these things wouldn't happen to you? Nobody told you that. What made you think that your life was always going to be sunshine and rainbows? That's not even possible. That doesn't make sense. These experiences occur because they're meant to occur. They're meant to occur to strengthen you, to make you stronger, to prepare you for what's to come. So when someone betrays me or when, something happens that's uncomfortable, I think to myself, okay, what's the lesson in that? Why did that happen? Why did I need that to happen? You have to deal with the pain of it all, but at the same time, make use of that pain. Don't just let it like fester and become something that's just negative in you. Really start to use that and mobilize that to your advantage to say, okay, there's a lesson in this. So I start to set my expectations that my life is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be a journey. And on this journey, I'm serving a purpose, a higher purpose to help other people, to get to a place. And I don't know what that place is, but I'm going to just keep moving forward until I figure that out. But I cannot allow fear or self doubt or bad things that come along my way, my journey, to slow me down. So, my message to people would be set your expectations because setting, high expectations and thinking that certain things won't happen will limit your ability to be intentional because you'll be like, well, maybe I wasn't supposed to do that because this happened. Well, no, it's just supposed to happen on your journey. So keep being intentional, keep being purposeful, set expectations to know that these that things will happen. Good things will happen and uncomfortable things will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay. And when you do that and do that work and use tools to, not allow negative things to affect you long term, you start to use those things to benefit yourself. So that's why that quote kind of hit me, and I was like, wow, that's been kind of like my mantra for years now. So thank you for letting me share that.
I love it. I love it. So y'all give the girl a hand. Give my girl a hand. She was like, I need to get on camera more. And she's not the first one. When I hear that, I'm like, let's go. Let's just do it. Let's just rip the band-aid off and let's just get out there and look how her message aligned with what we're already talking about today and what you guys hear us say all the time. And she had a chance to practice her craft. There is nothing like stepping out of your comfort zone. Everything that you desire is on the other side of your comfort
Yes.
zone. So we don't know what it is yet, but I think we know what one thing that's on the horizons, Tammy. But you just set everything in motion for the next level for Tammy and for Bella's Lounge and anything that you want because you pushed through and decided
Absolutely.
to step out there. And we are rewarded when we move through our comfort zone. We start to see and experience things that were just out of reach. So I can't wait for that phone call when you tell me what it is, but I know that it's coming. I'm speaking life. I'm putting it out there. The next level, the level up just began right now. And so I'm glad to know that the Cassandra Terry Morning Show and the Fam Five is a part of that journey. And we waiting on the praise report, girl. So come back and
Absolutely.
tell us
Stay
what
tuned.
happens next.
Thank you.
All right. You are so welcome. All right. We have a few more comments. Let's see. Let's see. My mom says, yes, ma'am. I am very proud of the entire Fam Five. You guys are going somewhere with this show, and somewhere is in capital letters, y'all. You are really helping people all over. Hold on to your hats. Keep speaking life, mother. We receiving it. Jay, I'm so happy to see you back today. That's from Mama Jay. Sonia says, welcome, Tammy. Lori, do you receive compensation for your speaking engagements? Did you speak for free? I typically do. The engagement I did with her, Tammy and I are friends, so we reciprocate. So that one was not a paid. I was paid differently. I was paid with a public limelight for that one. But yes, I do have a speaker's agreement, and I get paid for speaking engagements, as does everybody on the panel. My mom's clapping her hands, and she says, "Speak, sweetheart." Let's see. She says, "Yes." I think that might be for you, Tammy. And then Tanya said, the more you use the tools, the easier it is to use them when you need them. And my mom says, yes, she just leveled up. So that is definitely for you, Tammy. So thank you guys for all the engagement. We're going to continue to move around the room. And Denise, if you are able, please unmute and share what's on your mind around intentionality today, especially since this is usually your favorite day.
This is my favorite day. Tammy, welcome. I have so much more since Tammy did what she did, but I'm gonna contain it. And I'm so excited today. Jay, welcome back. It's so nice to see all those boxes. And on my screen, Tammy's sitting in the middle bottom, like in this perfect spot, this perfect guest spot. I don't know if it's different for everybody else, but welcome.
Nope, that's where
Beautiful
she is, right below
share.
Jay. We kind of look like
Okay,
the Brady
yes.
Bunch beginning.
Yeah. Yes, it does look like that. Sorry, I'm kind of messing it up by not being live today. But thank you for that. You reminded me of something that I'm going to add to my share. My original share was very short anyway. I was literally going to say I have a very short share today that's really powerful for me, but I think it was just meant to be that Tammy would be here, would speak before me. I used to host these women's empowerment luncheons, and I started doing them at my church like 10 years ago. And it was just because we had so many women in our church that were in need of the services of other women, right? And a lot of women couldn't afford it, but it was like, why should we pay for it anyway? We pay with our time by sharing what I have with you, you share what you have with me. And the value that we were getting was such a blessing. It really wasn't about money. And I remember that one of the it grew into a thing that ended up that I ended up taking out of the church, and I was doing them outside, and I was only charging $25 for a ticket, and you got lunch when you came, right? And we did this scale on it that no woman would be turned away for the lack of being able to pay. So she could sign up and not pay, or pay what she could afford. And amazingly, the spirit of women to share with each other. If a woman had $10, she would say, I'll pay $10, but do you need help? And she would want to make it up for, in work. She would say, I'll come early and set up or clean up. Just, you reminded me of that. And I remember a good friend of mine, I never knew she had a problem with public speaking. And she came and she said, I want to share, but I don't know how. And she showed me her hand, and her hand was just trembling. And so when I introduced her, I held her hand and we walked up there together, and she sort of slinked behind me. And she's smaller than me and shorter than me. So it was like you couldn't see her because she was behind me. And I think the crowd thought it was intentional. So they laughed. They thought we were putting on a little show. They had no idea. No, she is in fear. And so I shared what she told me she wanted to share. And she sort of slowly came out. She showed her product. They were herbal things that she made, at home. And she wanted to share how they're good for you. And I just remember I said to her, I'm going to walk off. Give me a nod if you need me. And she just kept talking. She didn't even look at me. Like I said it into her ear. So when you said, give me a wink, give me a nod, I got you. I love that, not just about women who are empowering each other, but in humanity. Sometimes you have to give a nod to somebody when you need help. It might not be verbal. Maybe somebody that just knows you well. You're giving them a nod across the room that I need you now. And it's an intentional act, that you're looking to that support saying like I need you. And sometimes we have to do that. What I wanted to share about Wake Up Wednesday was that my vision for my life right now is down into like a daily walk, because there's so much going on around me, and I recognize my family says it's my meow meow moments. They mean that I'm like a cat, and we make a joke that I jump around like a cat, or I'm just like meow. I look over there and they're like, did she get distracted on her way to the kitchen? Because we still waiting on her to bring that bring that back. Somebody say go get meow meow. So it's just a cute little internal joke that we have, but I do get detoured easily. Right now, I am making daily intentional steps and lists. And my list even seems too big. So on the page, it'll say, I'm trying to get through this, this, and that. Speaking to Tammy, saying about don't have such a high expectation. On a daily basis, my list has been too big. So instead of making a smaller list, yesterday I actually added a 3x5 index card on top of the page and pulled out 3 items from the list that was too big, because I literally could not decide which things to take with me as I took my laptop off to go work. So I took the big list, but I took the little list. I was able to get through the 3 things on the 3x5 card, and I promptly and excitedly ripped it up and threw it in the garbage can, and then went on to my big list because I was on item number 4. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm proud of myself. But I didn't feel bad that I didn't meet that big expectation of getting through this list, because I knew it was too much anyway. I just didn't know how to break it down. So I say all that to say, do not be deterred by challenging, whether it's a moment, a comment, a circumstance, or energy from another person. Do your best to stay focused on the vision that you have for your life. Stay intentional on the vision that you have for your day. Vision, even though the word goes against a short-term thing, it could be as much as just, this is my vision for my day today. It's how you use the word for your life, how intentional you want to be with that word for your life. It doesn't have to be a lifetime vision. It could just be for today. I have a vision of maintaining positive energy, maintaining active energy, and getting through these 3 items that I set for myself. And whatever you have to do to make that work, whether it looks like a meow meow moment or a little monkey jumping around or whatever it looks like for you, if it makes you smile and it brings you joy, do that thing. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Tammy, for being here. Are you coming back tomorrow?
I'll be here as many times as y'all want me to. And I will say this too. I forgot to mention this, but I am not a morning person. So talk about being intentional. I am normally asleep until 9:30 in the morning. So when my
Yep.
sister said, "Well, you can do this," I was like, "You know what? I'm waking up." So I've been up since 6:30 because I had to prep myself to be here. So thank you for even extending the invitation for me to come back. I appreciate that.
That was exactly what she said too. I said, it's at 7:15 a.m. because she always jokes with me. I'm not seeing your messages until after 9 o'clock because I'm still in the bed. And I was like, all right, but up. And that's what intentionality will do. When you have a desire for yourself and you are willing to do what you don't normally do, that's the only way it's going to happen. If you keep doing what you always do, you're going to have what you've always had. If you want something different, you have to be willing to incorporate some new habits into your life. And that's why we show up every day and talk about these things, helping you to think through what those habits might be for you that's going to take you from where you are to where it is you would like to be. I see Charito has joined us. She said, good evening, everyone from the Philippines. Hello, Kabayan Joy. And hello, Cassandra. Hello, Charito. It's always good to know that you are with us. Mr. Content, we're going to come over to you in just a moment. The quote is, when you have a vision for your life, even the difficult times become a part of the journey. Not a Roadblock by Joel Osteen. So Brian is our Mr. Content. He works with us all to make sure that we are intentional and deliberate, and we have that definite objective, so that we're not just doing things, we're not just posting things for the sake of being out there, but we actually have a plan. We know where we are, we know where we're trying to go, and we are taking intentional steps that are going to get us there. So he works with us all about that from a content perspective every day. So intentionality should be an easy one for you, Brian. What comes to mind?
Yeah, I love talking about intentionality. That's why I'm here. I knew this day was coming a long time ago. I put it off. I'm like, Tammy, I've always been more comfortable behind the curtain. My kids used to call
Mm-hmm.
me the Wizard of Oz. They were like, Dad, you never wanna get out. My oldest, she's like, Bubba, you got to get out there. You got to put your face out there. I was like, nah. She's like, you're halfway attractive. You should put your face out there. I was like, nah. I think I'll stay back behind the curtain. I'm comfortable back there. But you know, you have to be intentional in order to make those things that you want to happen. And I knew, according to the objective that I had for my life, the objective that I was shown for my life, that eventually someday I would have to come from behind the curtain. Did it come a little sooner than I had hoped? Absolutely. Was I very, very uncomfortable getting started? Absolutely. Did Cassandra help push me on out there? 100% absolutely. And now I'm here. But I saw it, and that's the thing about being intentional and having an objective and setting a strategy, is that you can really start to see it unfold when you start to put these parameters for your life in place. I remember when I was younger, one of my fanboy moments was uh Morgan Freeman. I don't know if any of you ever watched Electric Company, but Morgan Freeman was easy reader. Ever since I was a kid, I was a big Morgan Freeman fan. I had a jacket like him. I used to still turn my collar up now because of Morgan Freeman. And I remember saying when I was younger, I'm gonna meet that guy one day. I'm gonna meet that guy. I think I was like 4, and I used to tell my mom, I'm gonna meet him. She was like, "How you ever gonna meet Morgan Freeman?" And 30 years later, my uncle, who was a big blues singer, he performed with BB King and a lot of other not so well known uh blues performers. He performed at Ground Zero in Clarksdale. And if you don't know, Morgan Freeman owns that club with the mayor of Clarksdale. Well, he called me up one day. I was working in Chicago. He said, "Nephew, you got to get down here, man. You'll never believe whose club I'm in." I said, "Who on?" He said, "Morgan Freeman." I said, "Man, get out of here." He was like, "Yeah, you got to get down here. This is your lifelong idol. You got to get down here so you can meet this guy." I was like, "Nah, I got meetings. I got this. I got that." He was like, "Look, I'm not taking no for an answer." So I went down and I met Morgan Freeman. Like no big deal. Morgan Freeman. I went down. I had a black t-shirt on. Unlike you, Cassandra, when it comes to meeting people, nah, it's no big deal. Like everybody is everybody. It's no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really struck when I meet a star because we're all just people. So I went down
Right.
there, had this t-shirt on. It was this cool, laid back environment. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I saw this day coming. I knew this day was gonna happen. And now we're here. And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with what I'm doing now. I was talking with one of my other uncles about it yesterday. Uh, and I talk about him all the time also. He plays a real big part. He's a big influence on my life. And we were just talking about how when you set your goals to something, you can start to see those goals unfold. And I started to see my life unfold in ways that I had already envisioned. Like it shouldn't be a shock to you when you set a plan for your life. That's what intentionality means for me. It's about taking what you've been given, the thoughts you've been given, and turning those thoughts into reality. Because just because you were given the thought doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to take the action to make it a reality, right? You have to be intentional in order to make your dreams come true. Right? And that was something that I learned a long time ago. it was something that I applied ever since that day I met Morgan. I started taking more time to be intentional. I started taking my goals and setting objectives for my life and putting them in a 7-year calendar and breaking that calendar down into years and the years down into quarters and the quarters down into months and months down into weeks. And then I started breaking those weeks down into tasks. And instead of doing 60-minute tasks like most people do, oh, I'm gonna do this in an hour. I would take the 60 minutes and I would break it down into 20-minute units to force myself to finish those tasks on time and make those times more productive, right? Instead of just saying, oh, I'm gonna give myself 60 minutes to write. Now I'm gonna give myself 20 minutes. I'm gonna actually set a timer and I'm gonna get this done. And my youngest daughter looks at me now. She's like, what are you doing with that timer? I said, I'm trying to get something done. She's like, that's my timer. I said, it's your timer, but I've confiscated it because you took my timer and you made it yours. She was like, Dad, I need my timer back. I got to start setting some goals. And she's 6, but she is seeing intentionality in place. And that's what she wants now, right? So she's intentional. Well, I took her some pizza, her and a classmate last week. And one of the classmates walked back in after going to the principal's office. The kid wasn't in trouble or anything. They were just had to go pick something up from their parent. And when she walked back into the room, the kid, and she was like, wow, they got pizza? And my daughter looked and she was like, yeah, we got pizza. She's a little aggressive. And the little girl said, where'd the pizza come from? She looked back at me. She said, this guy right here, he's intentional. And that's what, because she already saw it coming. The day before I was in and we were laughing and we were joking. I was like, Dad's got to go. I got a meeting. She was like, come on, Dad, 5 more minutes. But you know how kids are. 5 minutes actually means an hour. So I ended up staying 3 hours. And at the end of 3 hours, she was like, Dad, just 5 more minutes. I was like, baby, I got to go. I got to make this meeting. And when I left, she was really sad. I said, I got a surprise for you tomorrow. She said, okay. She said, I like that about you. You say you're going to do something and you deliver. I said, yeah, I'll be back. So she knew when I said that I was going to be back. So not only was I being intentional, but she was being intentional with expecting. So you have to be intentional in the things that you do, not just in your thoughts, but in your deeds also.
I love that. And what's so funny is at 6 years old, that's how she talks already. This guy right here, he's intentional. I literally can hear her saying that. But our kids are sponges. They pick up much more than what we say. They pick up what we model, what they see us do. So if you want to know how you're doing, check in on your kids and see how they're developing, because they become little sponges and they just push out what we've pushed into them at times.
You see the
So
smile coming across
Charito
my face.
is saying hello. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Charito said hello to Brian, Denise, Eric, and Lisa F. Naomi said feeling motivated. Charito also said hello to Jane. And my mom, Joanne Ellis, said, Denise, I'm so happy to hear your voice and enjoyed every word. You spoke a good word. You are amazing, with a bunch of hand claps. So the messages are still coming in. Let's look at the quote one more time. When you have a vision for your life, even the difficult times become a part of the journey, not a roadblock, by Joel Osteen. And one of the things that it was something that Denise said that had really triggered a thought. What was it? Maybe it'll come back to me. I just lost it as quick as I was about to pick it up. But let's go over to our storytelling strategist, Mr. J. Pasqua. We are so happy that you're feeling well enough to be back with us. We know that if you're not here, it's serious, because you show up. You show up for the Fam Five, and we're happy that you decided to show up for yourself and give yourself the care that you needed. So with that, let me pitch it over to you, and whatever it is that you'd like to share about intentionality, the floor is yours, Jay.
Yeah. Thank you, Cassandra. It's good to see everybody today, and really good to meet you, Tammy, as well, and hear your message for us today. Mama J, thank you. I really feel uplifted in this moment, to be quite frank.
Good. Good.
You know, I felt, man, I felt really down and out for a couple of reasons um, last week, and there was a couple of other things that my family encountered. So if nobody knows, my wife and I got sick, and boy, the first couple of days, it wasn't, I could push through. Wednesday was a little bit rough, and then Thursday night, man, it hit me like a freight train. And so it felt like I just couldn't do it, and I couldn't think. I couldn't sleep well for several days. It was tough. And one of the things that the Fam Five encouraged me was to, you know, I always show up for people, but I need to show up for myself,
That's right.
because how can you be here to help us if you're not 100%? And and I was like, okay, I really need to listen, because man, I'm totally out of it. I can't think. So I was in pain. I felt miserable, and then we lost, a loved one, and we were dealing with the guilt of not being able to go home, and to be there for the family, and to show our support and for that family member. And it was it was tough. And I had to be there for my wife, because this was her father that we had to say goodbye to. And then we got a couple of other personal bits of information following that just kind of pushed us over the edge a little bit when it came to these, what we thought were problems, right? These obstacles that we've been hearing about today. So that being said, I've laid out the pain points. I'm going to talk about the good news, and I haven't been here in a minute, so I've got two Bible verses.
Bring it.
um, so here's the first one, and it's Psalm chapter 84, verse 6. Passing through the valley of weeping, you will find pools of blessings. So when you're in that valley, if you stay in faith, knowing that God has something better, He'll take all that stuff and turn it into refreshing pools.
Love it.
And so there was some times that I felt like this it was a horrible time. Um, but do I sit there i- in a pity party for myself and for my family? uh And I had to consider this other Bible verse, and it's Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do
Mhm.
not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. It's about faith, right? For Christians, that's what it is for us. We're when we have these doubts, because we're human, we do have doubts.
Mhm.
This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to lean in to our faith, even more so than if we were standing in our blessings.
Mhm.
And so this is the part of intentionality that's important to understand. You have to have resilience in the face of these obstacles, these struggles, adversity. Resilience involves confronting and overcoming fear and that adversity, right?
Mhm.
The command "do not fear" suggests that believers should not let fear control actions or decisions, living in that intentionality. You have to have that divine strength, that inner strength, right? The strength within wins. What was the saying?
I like it. I like it. Because that voice within is drawing on that strength so that we can win. We go-
Right. You know, and some of us, right, you know, we're still learning that phrase. We're still trying to get our our minds around it. The strength goes beyond human capabilities though, you know, and that comes from that faith because it's God's support, right? That outside being that is going to be there for you. The assurance of God's presence and active involvement is what's going to give you the help that you need, you know, this divine support. And for us as Christians, we believe that this is going to help us when we lean into that faith. And when we lean into faith, we're going to be able to lean into our purpose. And that's where I come in as the storytelling strategist. And I'm leaning into that purpose as a result of leaning into my faith. And this is all because of intentionality. And if you live in intentionality, you've got the faith, you've got all of these things that are going to be able to help you lean into your purpose. And this, I think, is what I was trying to say today, thinking about all of the things that everybody shared.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for that, Jay. You made up for lost time, brother, which I knew you would. I knew you would. He came with not one, but two verses today. Just in case y'all missed him, he had a little extra sauce for us. And we certainly appreciate that. My mom says, preach, Jay. And you got a bunch of holy hands or and a heart. So, you know, but she's at the top of your fan club. So we're not surprised, right? But listen, guys, we have had a very rich conversation today. Lots of engagement from the audience about intentionality. I could not be more pleased. Once again, the quote is when you have a vision for your life, even the difficult times become a part of the journey, not a roadblock. The only difference in the difficult times being a roadblock or a part of the journey is your mindset, right? It's how you choose to look at the situation. So we're never going to get away from mindset and talking about its importance and connecting with that voice within, because that's where your power lies. When you are in alignment, when you can look in the mirror and love that reflection back, and you're able to speak life into and over yourself, you are poised to step into your destiny. You're poised to walk that path that was uniquely carved for you. And when we talk about intentionality, what we're saying is get off of autopilot. Flip the switch on, put yourself in the driver's seat, have a clear understanding of where you are, a clear understanding of where you intend to be, and then take conscious steps day in and day out, choice after choice, decision after decision, step after step should be moving you towards that end goal. When you're doing things, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if the answer is anything other than it's moving me towards my goals, now you got to dig in and go, am I wasting my time here? Is this what I really should be doing? But staying tapped in and connected with yourself enough that you're aware that you're making choices all day long. And those choices have consequences. And the consequence that you want is progression towards the life that you desire. But you have to be awake. You have to wake up, not just on Wednesday, but every day, and be intentional about how you spend your time, your energy, your efforts, your focus, your resources, whatever they are. They should be going into the end goal. And if you're doing that, though, that's time, energy, effort well spent. And the reward for that is the achievement of the things that you set out for yourself. It keeps those distractions at bay, and it keeps you on course, even when the journey twists and turns because of obstacles. You end up at your destination because you never let go of the end goal. You keep that at forefront of mind. So that's what we wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you so much, Tammy, for joining us. It was great to have you. And thanks everybody for all of your shares, both on stage and in the audience. We appreciate everything that you guys have provided. We will be back here tomorrow, 7:15 a.m. Tomorrow's Thursday. So on Thursday, it's Thankful Thursday, and we talk about gratitude. One thing I want to share with you guys, you'll start to see those of you who are connected with me, especially if I have your email, you'll start seeing before the day is up, we'll start talking about a vision board event that we have coming up in December the 21st. We're going to spend about 2.5 hours together, really getting clear, and so that you can be intentional going into 2024. Don't wait till January. Let's start planning. Let's get clear now and have your plan in place and start making progression towards that plan right now, so that 2024 you accomplish more than you ever have. It starts with that clarity and knowing what it is you want to accomplish in the first place. So we'll do a little grounding, get the mind right. We'll have a goal setting workshop where we talk through what it is to have good goals and how you go about creating those. And then you'll have time to either virtually or physically create your board. We'll send out the information to everybody, a supply list of what you need if you want to create a physical board, which is what I love because I like to be able to touch mine. Or if you want a virtual board, we'll give you the instructions on how you can do that as well. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to know more, send me a DM and I will share the link with you. Thanks to you guys who sent recommendations and testimonials yesterday. I saw those start to roll in, and I certainly appreciate that. Did I miss anything, guys? What else do we need to share? Brian, I know you've got a workshop coming up. Can you tell them about that?
Oh yeah, we've got a workshop coming up on the 13th of next week. It's Annie and I. We're talking about networking. We're talking about content strategy and employing some of these tools that are available in LinkedIn to help you be able to build and nurture those relationships so that you can start to make more money from your knowledge and your experience in 2024. Like you were saying, Cassandra, don't wait the next year. Start now. Get started right now. Start planning out your goals. Start planning out your content. You don't have to just start with 12 months. You can start with a month. Start with a week. Start small and then gradually let that cadence build. And that's what we're showing people how to do next week. The links is being shared every day in my profile on our business pages. We're sending out emails. We're going to start hosting a challenge to help bolster the event. And it's part of the strategy that we use, not just for ourselves, but for our clients also. So be on the lookout for that.
Everything that we're sharing now, we will each of us will drop a link into this the comments of this live, so that you guys can check everything out that we have going on and can choose what you would like to participate in. Eric, what do you have coming up, or what would you like to share?
I've been also sharing the vision board as well. So getting folks interested, excited about the vision board, how we're going to use grounding as a part of that. And so, yeah, I'm excited about the 21st. Brian's event next week as well. So supporting both of those.
Awesome. Any room? Is there a room you want to talk about?
Absolutely. The next Tuesday we'll do the write to write your story room, and so I know that Jay will be there as well. Brian, I sent you the invitation. I hope you're able to join us next Tuesday at 6. So we'll be helping folks write their story.
Excellent.
Awesome.
So also drop the link into the comments afterwards so that everybody else gets a chance to see it. We want to make sure that if they're not quite connected with you, they can see it from this event. Jay, anything you want to share?
I do. So tonight, actually, I'm hosting an audio event with Erskine Edwards where
Mhm.
we talk about keys to unlocking your full potential, and it's storytelling as it relates to resilience and what that means. And so I talked a little bit about resilience already, so I'm kind of primed for what we're going to be talking about this evening.
My favorite. That's my favorite R word, resilience. Okay, I'm looking forward to that one. Miss Denise, anything you want to share before we go?
No, ma'am, no specific rooms, but I'll be a guest and trying to tune in to all of you guys' audio events. Thank you.
And
Hey,
Denise
we've
and
also
I,
got an audio room tomorrow. I forgot about that one with Lance. It's building profitable relationships with our cousin Lance. I almost
okay.
forgot.
Well, make sure to put the link to that one as well. And Denise and I host a room that Brian started, Talk with Queens. It was yesterday, and it was a really powerful room. So we'll share the link to that, the future meetings for that one as well. We'll start doing more. We know you guys show up for us in the mornings, and we so appreciate you being here. Most of you are here at least 4 days a week, and we wouldn't be able to reach as many people as we do if it wasn't for your support, your sharing, your engagement, your uplifting us tells us that there's an impact and that we should keep going. So we're going to start sharing a little bit more of the other things that we have going on so that if you guys would like to participate, at least you're aware. There's no pressure, but awareness is where it's at, right? If you know, then you can make a good decision for yourself. If you don't know, you may miss out on something that you otherwise really would have liked to participate in. We're going to end that, and I will put the vision board event as well in the comments, but I want to give the last ability to share their events to our special guest today, Miss Tammy Denmark. Tammy, is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience that you have coming up?
Yes, actually, we are working on a Women Empower conference. The date is kind of flexible, but we're looking at May of 2024. Very excited, super excited about getting some powerhouse women to show up and to celebrate and engage and empower each other. And so you can go to bellaslounge.com to sign up to get more information about my events. And as the information becomes available, I will be posting it on the website. So that's bellaslounge.com. Look forward to the Women in Power Conference 2024. We are ready to do some big things. So
And I'll tell you, the conference that she did before, the Wealth and Power Conference, sorry, it had a women's segment to it. And
mhm.
that segment got so much attention, and we were running out of time and wrapping it up, and that the questions kept coming. They wanted more. And she got feedback, so much feedback that they wanted more of that she's decided to do a conference that expanded what that segment was in the larger event. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to be there in one capacity or another, even if it's just
Yes, you
cheering
will. So
from the audience. I'm going to be there.
I
Uh,
already put you on the roster. You don't even know. So yes,
sounds like
ma'am.
I've been voluntold. I've been
Yes.
voluntold that I've got to. I'll take it. Yeah, I look forward to that. And Denise, and you, I had spoken to Denise about you prior, Tammy. Before Denise and I really knew each other, she hired me. She told me she had this women's empowerment brunch that was coming up in California, and she asked me just from being in some of the rooms that I had done if I would come and speak at that event. She sent me her speaker's agreement. We signed on the dotted line, all professional. I was like, okay, this LinkedIn thing is good. I'm getting the word out there. I'm meeting people. And then she said, but that's not enough. Why don't we do it where you are too? And so we just have to figure out venues and stuff like that. So I told her about you and what you do and how you do events all over Austin. So you ladies have a lot in common. I would love for
Definitely.
y'all to connect outside of this room and get to know each other. She's actually in Grenada right now. She's been doing conferences and workshops there for 2 months and is still going because we think we're going to get her back and they extend her time. So she's taken what you're doing on a global scale. So there's a
I
lot of
love
synergy.
it.
between the two of
Yes.
you. So I will definitely do the introductions so you guys can talk more. So
Look
with
forward
that,
to it.
guys, we are going to wrap up today's edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. Wake Up Wednesday was powerful. I hope you are all awake, not physically, not only physically, but spiritually, emotionally. You are awake, you are tapped in, and that you are intentional about how you're spending your precious resources. If you do that, there's no way that you won't win. And we will see you back here tomorrow at 7:15 a.m. Central for Thankful Thursday. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.